we on? All right. We're about to go on, people. Here we go. Hey guys and girls, it's Skyhawk JD here. How you all doing? This is here we are with Phoenix Wright, part 15 of my Let's Play. Now, for you people who are who watched the last one, my sincere apologies for that. During the midst of the live stream, I actually had a blackout. So it cut off during the stream and I wasn't able to continue. So I was really upset about that, but here we are. We're going to try this again. And hopefully we have no issues this time. But this is also to celebrate. I have reached 200 subscribers, and I'm really grateful for it. I want to thank you all so much for all your love and support that you had given me throughout the years of me being on YouTube. This is a big achievement for me. I know it's not a lot to some people, but for me, I'm pretty happy and proud of myself. All right, so this is it. We're here to celebrate, and we're also here to go to court. It's time for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Part 15. It's a little loud on my screen. I don't want it catching up on the mic. All right. On the mic. All right. Hey Kratos boy. Hey Goji. Alright, day 3, trial ladder. February 24th. We already went through this last time. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. I didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. You really shouldn't be drinking in court, dude. Witness, please state your name and occupation. How are you talking while you're drinking? Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering around the trails of civilization. Hee hee. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersection when needed. Yes, we get it. Burn. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind call it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind. I've never heard Edward described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You're in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place, correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's supposed to be... Okay, let's just get on with this thing quickly. Please share your testimony with us on the day of the crime. In plain English! Hi, Jenny Bear. My job was to keep a wary eye. Okay, you know what? I read this last time before the blackout, so I'm just gonna brush through this. That's where I have to press something, is right there. Before I continue, am I coming in clear? You put in the comments. Am I coming in clear? I want to make sure I have no accent like last time. Man. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Go ahead there. Wait a minute. What do you mean by the 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yeah, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. I should be a voice actor. He's not good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? No. Okay, this one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Okay. My job was to keep a very eye. I already know what to do. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back to the west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I better up the ante. Yep, again with the creepy cowboy. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room is so still. Even time dies in there. I was just the caretaker who entered the recordings. You mean you entered them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. Oh hey, Shinon Yorigami, what's up? When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. Okay, dude, you don't have to get so dramatic. This guy has a flair for the dramatic. But it isn't gonna do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. They said I was supposed to make round 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Okay, so it ain't your style, so you're going to... Wow. Really, man? I'm just gonna do it. Officer Marshall, doesn't it just strike you as odd? That is, you being called to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds, about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be there. No. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness! What is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? Why does he have a knife in a courtroom? It seems to me There ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. Ugh! I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the bloodstained fingerprints? Very well. You may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Found at the crime scene. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstain handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? Okay, that I already know. See? I had nothing to do with it. The witness explanation appears to be valid. We're gonna get through this quick, guys, until we get to the part where we messed up last time. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Bloodstained fingerprints. That's because you, how do you put it, pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happened to be mine. Wait, what? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'll be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently, his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Alright, that's been updated. One of them just happened to be the... Okay, I already know what happened here. Right there. How did you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found in Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean... So the murderer was wearing gloves. Happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? The seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. Ugh! There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, please continue. Please, jeez, freaking judge. What do you mean by that? You want to tie into this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, the video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor. God, I hate that thing! The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. Objection! We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you could show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Okay, this is where we left off, guys, where it got cut off during the blackout. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. All right, now then, let's have a look at the video. Show us his incriminating evidence of Jake Marshall. I hate that thing. Alright, alright guys, I need your help. What do you see? The only thing, like I say from last time, what was bugging me was the fact that he attacks the guy, but then he walks out, but you don't see him leaving. How did he get out? Okay, there's the glove that fell. Okay, there's the Meekins. Then there's the attack. Stab in the hand, tackles him, throws him to the, and then bang. And then look, you don't see him walk out. Okay, there's Meekins. He's dead. He's passed out on the ground. Okay, he's dead. He's not dead. He's down. I mean, but look. You don't see him walk out. You don't see him walk out, guys. Do you see anything? Should I point that out? All right, let's fast forward. Okay, there he is walking through. Okay, this is Five Nights at Freddy's freak out right here. Okay, there's Meekins. Okay, there's the attack. Boom! Throws him down. Goes in for the stab. Guys, little help. He doesn't walk out. I don't see it. Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. Go back. Go back. Guys, if you see my can you guys see my cursor well? Whoa, go back. Okay, I want you guys to do me a favor. Pay attention to my cursor. Look at this right here. Look, I want you guys to focus on this locker. Type down "yep" if you can hear. If you guys are paying attention to the locker, I want you guys to type down "yep." I want you to pay attention to this locker right here. Something's not right. Nobody's paying attention to the locker, okay? But yeah, few people watching, look at this locker. I want to see if you guys notice it. All right, I'm gonna play it now. There's the attack. Okay. He's passed out. There! There! That wasn't there! That was my phone. Sorry for that. That's Rambo too. See? That wasn't there. Take that. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. These days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. That's 8 words. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Meekins passed out. Am I good or am I good? I caught that. Oh, the white cloth! It's gone! What's the meaning of this, Officer Mars? Oh! Now I'm getting it! Now I'm getting it! That's why we did not see Marshall. Marshall edited the video. He edited the video. Stupid. Sorry, my message is going crazy. Anyway, he edited the security tape. That's why I kept saying, why can we not? We could see the guy going in, but we never saw him go out. It's because the guy, he edited the video. When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera turned away. Order! Order! He was saying that's the only... Hold your horses! Sorry, partner. You got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Idiot. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Did you not hear anything we just said? Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? You're an idiot. This guy isn't just plain dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker? Now prove it! Finger... Oh, he's sweating. Fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? What is he? I only got 1 word for you, partner. Nah! We got him. Order! 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 Witness, explain yourself! If this is a joke, it's the worst I ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us, what were you doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime? Ole! Please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. Oh! I got it! I got it! I got it! I know it! I know it! I know it! Oh, I know it! I know it! I know it! I already know it. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Take that! Officer Marshall was standing right here. So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there? That's almost as credible as Meekins' rap theory. Oh, I clicked the wrong person! Crap! My fault. It said K, so I thought that meant killer. Officer Meekins should have seen the evidence from. That means there was only one place he would be in. Well then, let's hear it. It's right here. It's V. My mistake. But that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. No. I knew it. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in this video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up as Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his ID card, sir! Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me! Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yeah, what? He would have needed it to enter the evidence room. He must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he had shown that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I was dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, oh, am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Ah, this can't be happening! It's so obvious he's the one! What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. Ugh! I'll pass on to you what someone just told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chances it might be discovered later if it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all of our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video might be my only shot. Very well. Let's take another look at the security team. Before we do, guys, how am I coming in? Am I coming in clear? After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away a white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Oh, God, I don't know. Why did he put a cloth away? It's not the glove. The knife! What do you have to say to that? Alright, partner. You really want to know the reason I had to open my locker? Why? Did I get the wrong answer? I thought it was the knife! I'm sure there will be a better place with you sent off to the boneyard. Oh wow, aren't you just pretty? I don't understand. So that was wrong. Okay. Okay, I was wrong. I was wrong. Something went wrong in the evidence room. That's why Officer Marshall had to open his locker. The unexpected event is itself. I don't understand. Okay. All right, let's go back to the video, guys. Okay, fast forward to the part. Okay, fast forward. Let's go back to the attack. Oh! For some reason, you disguise yourself as the blood. You disguise yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show you your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Officer Marshall! Tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. It seems the time has come. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. Guys, it's stormy again outside. We've been having a lot of storms lately. I hope it doesn't cut off again. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Let's do this. I didn't do it that day. I just couldn't let it... Okay, pressing it. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to be completely end. It was going to completely end with the transfer that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what do you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the case's lead detectives can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I plan to take out the evidence. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that's really why Goodman started filing out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to see despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could have because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. That guy looks like me. It is coming down outside, guys. It's storming bad. Hopefully I don't get no problems. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID? I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. Where did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. I forgot to press that one. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you blended your coat in your struggle with Officer... Excuse me. You blended your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on the tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from your locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. Wait, what? Mr. Edgeworth, where's that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is that he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think there's real reason is. And I think I already know what it is. Yep. Bottom right. Neil Marshall. Yep. I have a feeling we'll wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related to somebody to that case. I better take another look at the files.
Objection!
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. In case you guys don't know, if you drink cactus juice, if you drink too much of it, it can actually cause you to hallucinate. Like, if you guys ever watched Avatar The Last Airbender, when Sokka, Toph, and Katara were in the desert when Aang was looking for Appa, Sokka found a cactus, and he started to cut it open and drink the water in it. But after a while, he started to hallucinate because he got high off cactus juice. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. It's a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah. I'm sure you heard the name. 2 years ago. He received the same lousy prosecutor awards you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Ugh. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. Oh, that's his hair. Man, poor guy. He lost his brother to a murderer. Nobody can ever get over that. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. Hey, you know what that looks like? Jen, Taylor, Goji, and I. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. Wee! He looks like Lord Voldemort. He just looks evil, like... Ooey, just... Ooey, he just creeps me out. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all was needed. He was arranged, incarcerated, then the case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beat him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day of the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with this resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. And exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office. This fake murder was going at the police department. Chance. It's gotta be more than that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But hold on, wait! Verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there is only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the stimulus murder at the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All the mysteries of the police department have been resolved. No doubt about it. Once our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office, the only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Ah! I rest my case. Prick. It seems this trial is just a conclusion. There is no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time. Disproving the alleged murder of the police department. God, if I could do a British accent, I would be so happy right now. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. Excuse me. The apparent murder at the security camera's tape was really a fake. But I didn't realize that it would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Hold it! Your Honor! Wait! Emma! The defense has objection. Oh God, get on with the science. The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Shut up, Rambo! Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? Oh, in a sense, Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found in Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No! But I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. Did you find something? No! Huh? Sorry. I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. Oh god, this is not gonna end well. But Mr. Wright! Those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright, with regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears that the defense is troubled by the other blood smark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered on the ground here. Is there any problem with this? Mr. Wright! I'm sorry I can't be any more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If I ever needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Shit! I gotta think here, guys. I can't think. Okay, think. I'm just gonna put object.
Objection!
This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intensely at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn there? The mascot is blocking the... Oh my god, Jen, you're right! In the security camera, the mascot was blocking the locker. How did I not catch that? Yeah, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing from the floor plans?
Take that!
What about that piece of plywood? Oh my gosh, she was right! The Blue Badger, the mascot of the police force. The defender of truth and guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. I love you, Jen. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger's not there. So, So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing there, it would be impossible to place a handprint at the spot of the locker. Jen, you were right. What? So that means, just what exactly does that mean? It means it can't be done. So that means, just what exactly does that mean? It means. Okay, checking the volume. I think I'm off. I think my commentary's off. Oh well. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found in that locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma! On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in? Just one moment. I will not allow such a far-fetched balderdash into my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time, yes, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous! I refuse to accept your absurd claim!
Objection!
The murder portrayed at the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found in the locker.
Objection!
So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proved when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? Ah! Wait a minute. Who's 777? Whatever. To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place at that evidence room. That's right. The blood mark on this locker proves this. Very well. Then tell us, when did this first incident occur, as Mr. Edgeworth said? Proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense... I don't know what it is! I don't know what it is! I gotta think, guys. Is it this? This is the proof. It's quite simple, you see. Okay, yep, I got it wrong. Dang, I cannot get any more penalties here. Think, JD, think. First crime, okay. Huh. Oh! I was right! It was this!
Take that!
If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. In order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh! The ID card record! Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure it out. It couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to have noticed the blood. That means the blood from the first crime scene was wiped away by the real murderer. It would have just been 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card remaining. 777, 7777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait! That doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 777, 7777. Mr. Edgeworth, please get to this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777 77777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least, at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID card number 777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to acquire such a person's identity.
Objection!
But that's ridiculous! Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority. An official charge filed, an executive is accepted. An official charge. You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries, that's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander? Is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her. The defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana!
Objection!
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID card, and it's not 777 7777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. All I want to know is one thing. About that incident. The SL9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana? I became prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Alright! Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to do in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana! Even if it involved forging evidence. You guys possibly could have put an innocent man to death. You guys could have put an innocent man to death. See? That's what I'm talking about. No. No! Order! 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 Lana's remark caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. This is getting crazy, guys. Did I already say that? Okay. February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Wright & Co. Law Offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm so sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to do in order for him to get the verdict he so deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident, which is the name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me? What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yeah. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that. I did not see that one coming. It happened 2 years ago. It was right around about this time of the year, too. That was a terrible thunderstorm that day. Unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. And we were planning to eat dinner together when she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. You know who he looks like? I take it back. He doesn't look like Lord Voldemort. He looks like a modern-day Judge Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Who's ever seen A Hunchback of Notre Dame? You know a Judge Frollo? Looks just like him. Hellfire! Dark fire! Now, Gypsy, it's your turn. Choose me or your pyre. Be mine or you will burn. I love that song. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what he was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burnt a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. You've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14. It's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about it when I was attacked. That must have been why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yeah, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known that he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true. Even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must have not been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mysteries there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective's offices and the questioning rooms are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly! Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective. I better have another talk with her. February 24th. Detention Center, Visitors Room. Lana. Mr. Wright. Seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL9 incident was the reason you're transferred to the prosecution's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details? Especially about the unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing! I like that picture. They still just talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Take a picture of that. And of recording that. I like that. That's a good picture. Chief Gant. He was a deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. Damien Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolized her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reasons I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to his resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least which was the fact that this case was largely connected to another case 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well. Though I expected much, I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. A trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. In that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana! What the witness, Miss Starr, said about you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command. That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Oh, that means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yeah. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives in the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when the final murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us? Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Dark suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down and then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, right, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. What does blood smell like? I'm just curious, what does blood smell like? I can look that up. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seemed Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and stayed unconscious. Laid unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma and carried her out of the room and just held her. Can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence. I don't buy it. What are you saying? I know blood smells like blood. I'm talking about, like, what's the aroma? Like, some people say it smells like iron. Some people say it smells like dirt. Some people say it smells like something rotten. Like, I don't know. There's no way everyone involved in this trial also was involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to the extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Huh? Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yeah. In the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself. The chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office. The site of the final SL9 murder. February. I don't see the tip of gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kind of quiet around here today. You're right. The chief of detectives seem the same though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We can come back here later. Well, I gotta get to the police department. February 24th. Howdy, Bambina. Hey, I thought you were in prison. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning. Que será? You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prosecutors head west? Why do prospectors head west? If there's ever was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. I don't really care about you, dude. I'm just looking for, Okay, I can't. I'll tell you right now, guys. This was a crazy case. It looks like we're still not done yet. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and once again, thank you all so much for all your help in letting me reach 200 subscribers. I want to thank you guys so much for your love and your support, and hopefully that number will continue to grow and grow and grow. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in part 16 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Thank you guys, and y'all have a good day.